I have been to cloud. I have set up the server that I need. I have put, assumably, every service, every cloud service that I need to run around the server. But now I am inside. I've connected to the server. Now that I'm inside the server, what do I do here in order to execute my job? I have no idea what to do here unless I know Linux. This is where we use Linux operating system. So we are going to spend the next 1 month learning. When we get here, what do we do in order to put files here, make the file available to the public? If we do not want the file to be available to the public, block them from being available. How do we create another server for South Africa, one for Europe market, and copy files from one? All of that we'll learn via the use of Linux commands. So Linux commands will be in command line interface like this. This place compared to this graphical place. Do you see me using mouse to click stuff? This graphical interface, graphic user environment, is different from here because right here, there is nothing to use mouse to click. So therefore, we call that one the command line interface and the other one the graphic user interface. As an IT person that is looking for a six-figure job, you must be able to work from here effectively. If you work only from here, you are not an IT person. You are just an IT user. So the reason you are here is to learn how to work from servers. Servers work from CLI. But this one is client. The client are the systems or the mobile phones that depend on the server that fetch applications from the server. So they are not servers, they are clients or users. All right. So we are training you to become engineers, people who work on the server side of things. If you imagine that this is a restaurant, this is the table, well set, the food presented, and you are eating as the customer. But this place is the kitchen. The kitchen is not the same thing as the front end where everything is neat, people are enjoying themselves. Here you are sweating, there's smoke, you are frying. So this is the kitchen that we are training you to be active participant in. All right. So like we said earlier, the way to work here is to be able to work from command line interface. And compared to Windows, which is the popular operating system, as far as working from the GUI is concerned, Windows, the operating system that we use in servers for command line interfacing is Linux or Linux. You get that?
Yes.
Okay. So do you now see why Linux is important in all of this? So here we are coming to learn print working directory. Where are we? Now we know where we are. CD, take one step backwards, CD ... Where are we now? Print working directory, CD, home, print working directory. Show me the list, the content that I have here, ls-l. Oh, that is it. Get me into this directory called var, cd, var. These are the commands that we are going to learn. Now that you are inside var, what do we have? ls-l. Oh, we have all of this. Okay, now I want to go into opt, cd, and so on and so forth. So by the time you are done with Linux, you would have learned at least 100 different commands without you knowing, because it's going to be really smooth, and you just learn one more command every day, and then you now be able to navigate around here. So if somebody comes and says, take me to this place and make this file available, or delete this directory and its content, or move this file to this place, because everything in computing is file, whether it's a voice that you are trying to delete from security agents, or whether you are trying to trace a particular file to see what your log, to see what happened in the last 2 days. Our computers were hacked. Who came here? What happened? System, tell me. So whatever it is that you are trying to do, As far as it's on the server, the way to do it is from this interface, this blank interface run by Linux operating system. So that is the place of Linux. After you have learned Linux and you can at least come into cloud to set up a server and manage the server with your knowledge of Linux operating system, the next thing you want to do is to learn additional services, because there are so many services. There's database, there's compute, there's container. You want to learn additional services available. S3, storages, additional service security available in cloud. It's not enough to go to cloud and set up a server. We have already learned to do that in 15 minutes. So every 9-year-old boy can do that. So that's not a big deal. But you need to be able to secure the server, to connect the server to database, to add additional compute resource to the server. For example, I think yesterday or so, I had my production server down because the developers were trying to do something and they got stuck on the way and it could not run. And then I went into my server, my production server, not in this environment, and I saw that all I needed to do was to increase the volume of my storage by 20, where I did not know, but when I did that, it worked. And they abandoned the work, and I said, I cannot leave my server down overnight, my production server, it has to work. So if I did not know all these other services, I would not have been able to resolve that issue. So developers know development. They do not know work related to servers as much as you will do, because you are going to become the server man. So you need to be able to understand these other services in ways that will enable you integrate them and make your IT infrastructure. In that case, we no longer call it just server. A server running along with other services on it. So we call it infrastructure. Server is too small. So you need to be able to manage, know what to do when things are moving smoothly, know what to do when things are not moving smoothly, know where to back up, and so on and so forth. All right? So for that reason, you are going to learn additional services. It is those additional services that we will learn under AWS Cloud Solutions Architect. Haven't learned AWS, haven't learned Linux in the first month. So do you see where you'll be going in the first 2 months?
Yeah.
Is that lady the only person in class? Are you everybody busy?
No, we're listening to you.
I need feedback.
There is another lady here.
But we don't know now if you don't talk.
I've been talking. We say yes, no. Yeah.
Was it you that was talking? Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I'm doing cloud server administrator with Linux, and I'll be doing Azure Cloud Solution Architect.
Okay.
Second one.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's go on. For the 3rd month, you know how, ideally, you know how you're able to come here and then you are using mouse to click stuff around. By the 3rd month, you are going to learn that, like we said, using mouse to click stuff around is not the ultimate in IT. It doesn't take you anywhere. But your ability to do the same thing in this environment, the things you should have done using mouse to click, you should be able to do them by running codes here. And these codes will go into cloud to do the job. All right? It will be true at this level. I could do a demo, but I don't want to. No, it's too early. So once you're able to run code, this is an example of Python code that is running, that will run in cloud to deploy your EC2 and so on, your server. So it is your ability to do the equivalent of what you do here from here. That is what we call infrastructure as code. In other words, we are saying, go to cloud and do all of this. So we wrote everything down that it should do in the form of code.